Welcome to Timber and Terra. I'm Glenn, and this is, I don't know, maybe episode 4 or 5. This particular year in our 45-acre woodlot, making some roads. The last video, I struggled going up that hill. Not because it's steep, because it's not that steep, but it was so ruddy and muddy. And as you saw there, there's still running water. I believe that running water actually heads a bit to the left. That's one of the reasons I chose to make this corner as sharp, is try to avoid that natural runoff if I can. As I continue the road from this switchback, and the reason I'm making this sort of a switchback here, it's a mild one, it's not sharp corners or anything, is that cliff there. Ideally I would have taken the road straight over that cliff and continued there. About 150 feet off the property line, which is how I laid out my roads, so that I have access to any of the trees with my 160-foot cable on this guy, the winch. So you can see my chainsaw there, green ribbon there, that's where the road is headed. I've started already with a little bit of work on some of these smaller trees. I got one hornbeam hung up there in the yellow birch, and this one he was already wedged between those two basswoods. So as far as larger trees that are going to come down, this beech here, this ash, and these twin basswoods. And I did struggle early on determining the difference between basswood and ash bark, but I think I'm getting the hang of it with the help of a couple comments from viewers. One is these ridges are a bit more flat. This is basswood as well, but you can see here this very much looks like ash bark before the tree gets a bit older perhaps, and the ridges flatten out. The other thing is, if you look at the branches, the twigs, instead of the branches growing opposite each other, they are alternating. So one branch on one side and then a branch on the other side up a bit further. So, and the other thing I've noticed with basswood previously is they always have a lot of these, I'm guessing they must be woodpecker holes. Basswood must attract some sort of an insect that woodpeckers like. So here I am, there's level, so it is a gradual, it's a steep incline. It's probably one of the steeper inclines I have on any of my property. So I'm going to take the first order of business here is to fell this basswood. You can see here the crown sort of arches to the right, so I'm going to drop it there, which happens to be right in the way of the road, but that's the way the cookie crumbles. That's the best way for it to fall. It'll also release this one, which is already pinched between the two. So this one I thought I was going to drop it that way, but actually cutting the notch, looking at it, I was able to fell it that way, an opening there. I was hoping it would take down this snag, but it's probably dropped it enough where I can pull it out by hand. So that basswood is done. This one here leans that way and towards us. So I'm thinking I might be able to, look at it this way, it does have a little bit of a lean in that same direction as that one. So that's what I'm going to do. It may need some coaxing with some wedges, but I should be able to drop it basically right parallel to that one. I thought I was going to be able to cut that beech, have it fall over, and then fell the rest of that basswood to the ground, but that beech is cut off and it's just sitting there. Probably too dangerous to try to do anything more, so I'll drag it out with a cable. So this next one here is the beech. I'd like to fell it the same way as the basswood, but that's not going to work easily because it's leaning this way, and I'd have to make it past the branches of that other really nasty looking beech. So there's a relatively clear spot that away. It's not a very tall tree anyhow, so even if it gets hung up, not a big deal. So I'm going to fell it into that. I think that's another clump of basswood right that away. So with the top of this ash down on the ground, it's easier to see this opposite versus alternating branch structure. So opposite means these branches grow opposite each other. Sometimes the one will have died or get cut. So they don't always have an opposite one. But when they do have branches on opposite sides of the main branch, they should be opposite. This is basswood. So you can see that there is no opposite, they're alternating. So they'll be maybe perhaps pretty close, but they're not going to be exactly opposite like they are with ash. So alternate, opposite. So I have all these logs chained up. 1, 2, 3, 4 sizable ones, and then the 16 footers down there I have wrapped all together as one. This one's interesting because normally I have the anchor tree as the last one, but since I used that to pull down that basswood, I just left that cable on there. So I have the other ones actually back beyond the anchor tree. So we'll see. If for some reason it doesn't look like it's working out, I'll reconnect. So that was the easy part. Now the challenging part is going to be making it up the hill through those ruts and the muddy areas. I'm guessing I'll have to drop it at least once, go up with the tractor alone, and then winch the trees up when I get there. All right, we're back down the muddy road. These are the twin basswood trees. So the next one to cut there is right by Kim, the yellow birch and the chainsaw. The rest of them for quite a while look like they're just going to be saplings and small poles. So that yellow birch I'll sort of fall that way. Then a lot of cleanup. So while I was attaching the chain to that tree, this one decided to fall on its own. I think the dead branch up there it was hanging on finally broke. Anyhow, so it's down. No excitement. I was chaining up that tree, which I had cut last time, just didn't drag out. Figured it was right there. I was going to drag it out at the same time I took this one down, but I don't need to do that. I'll just trim this one up, cut it to length, and we'll keep on keeping on. So that little beech tree I just cut down, I was going to fall it that way with the rest of the tops, and it got hung up. The other one is that squirrely looking ash. Hopefully I'm going to fall it this way. Maybe it'll hit that and knock it down. Otherwise I'll have to take my cable and drag it down that way. So making some progress. I cut a bunch of small trees around here. The next one is this maple here. The road is heading that way with the green ribbons, but I think I'm going to try to squeeze this through the branches. It may get hung up. Again, not a big deal, just drag it down with the cable, but it's going to fall that way, and that'll probably be 48 feet worth of firewood, 3 logs. Yeah, well, it didn't fall much before I got hung up, but it's free from the stump. So I'll just get the cable and a couple chains. We'll drag out these other birch here at the same time. All right, so I have the cable, the dead end, if you will, or the anchor tree around the one that's upright, and the chains around the birch. They are hooked up. There's a couple more up there I need to hook up still, but I'll do that after I drag this down and limit. So I got hung up either a stump or a rock. I can't remember what's under there, so I had to back up so I could lift the butt ends up. That little curvy ash there, evidently the chain slipped off from it. Tangled up in that mess up there, so rather than try to untangle the mess and fix that, I'll just drag these out and I'll worry about that ash next time I'm in here. Well, there it is. Sometimes I think I do more damage than I do progress when I push that up. This side of that push plate is a little bit disturbed, a little bit deformed, but the other side is really bent in. So I have a significant project sometime probably this summer to beef up that. Anyhow, 2 twitches, another, I don't know, maybe 75 feet of road. I'm not a good judge of distance, but somewhere between 50 and 100 feet, I'm guessing, we gained in road today. That'll wrap it up for this time. I appreciate you watching. Stick around for the next time. Thanks.